Relations between Armenia and Russia are falling apart. And there's no turning back now. Armenia is making it clear that it no longer intends to be friends with Russia, and in retaliation, Russia is unleashing its propaganda dogs on Yerevan.
This is all already the Antichrist. It's not that Pashinyan himself is the Antichrist, but the Antichrist is something collective, something big. Pashinyan might be the Antichrist's pinky finger, the Antichrist's appendix, or maybe Mr. Pashinyan is the Antichrist's anus.
Simonyan's reaction was to the conflict between the state and the Armenian Apostolic Church. On June 25th, a series of high-profile arrests took place in Armenia. Among those arrested were several clergymen from the dominant Armenian Apostolic Church. The country's authorities announced they had uncovered a network that was planning a violent seizure of power. And you might wonder, what does the conflict between Russia and Armenia have to do with this? But which country is the best at supporting violent power grabs?
This isn't the very first time such a nefarious plot has been uncovered. Break time equals 0.5s/. Also, over the course of the past few years, 3 distinct terrorist groups have been exposed, all of whom were actively stockpiling various firearms and dangerous explosives and a significant quantity of ammunition specifically for their planned terrorist activities. Moreover, the most recent group that was uncovered just a few months ago is directly and undeniably connected to Russia and certain prominent church hierarchs, and their activities are currently under investigation.
How determined is Armenia to break away from its dependence on Russia? Will Yerevan be able to stand up for itself? And does it have the strength to push back? Coming up a moment. Armenia has been distancing itself from Russia for some time. Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan communicates with France, contacts the United States, and recently traveled to Turkey for talks on stabilizing the regional situation.
Here, 2 parallel trends are clearly visible. The first is a strategic course of distancing from Russia. And the second is moving closer to the West. The foundation for both of these trends is the harmonization of relations in the region. As you called it, the normalization of relations with Azerbaijan and the normalization of relations with Turkey.
Russia really doesn't like this, but Armenia is only driving the nail deeper into the coffin of its relationship with Russia. Now they've even threatened to withdraw completely from the Collective Security Treaty Organization.
The primary reason is that Russia does not officially recognize the internationally recognized borders of the Republic of Armenia. Specifically, based on the Alma-Ata Declaration of 1991. This is, in fact, what Russia refuses to recognize with regard to Ukraine as well. We understand that Russia won't recognize this, because for Russia's current neo-imperial policy, such recognition would be suicidal.
Another wake-up call for Moscow, signaling that the old relationship with Yerevan over, Armenians no longer want Russian military assistance. For decades, Russian Federation was supplier of arms to Armenia, but over 2 years, there has been a sharp decline in military technical cooperation between 2 countries. At the same time, the contracts had already been paid for by Armenia, but Russia did not deliver the weapons. It was recently revealed that this dispute has been resolved. Yerevan announced an agreement under which Russia will simply write off part of Armenia's debt in exchange for the paid-for but undelivered weapons.
With the start of Russia's aggression against Ukraine, security and defense relations with Russia were terminated, at least for objective reasons, right? Because Russia itself didn't have enough for its own needs. That's why now they're relying, for example, on the North Koreans.
The Russian Federation has sharply fallen from its position as a leading arms supplier to an outsider, while new partners, France and India, have led. At the end of 2023, Paris delivered Bastion armored personnel carriers to Yerevan. The French Bastion is classified as an APC and can carry up to 10 people. It is equipped with turrets for 7.62 or 12.7 millimeters machine guns. The vehicle's open top allows for the installation of rocket launchers, surveillance systems, and targeting equipment. The armored personnel carrier also boasts upgraded armor. It provides protection for crew against small arms, mines, and improvised explosive devices. Considering most Armenian army's equipment dates back to Soviet era with big Russian hardware, these relatively new French armored personnel carriers are like breath fresh air by comparison.
After the war, it became absolutely clear that all these Russian systems and subsystems, yes, I mean the institutions, are completely useless. They've completely outlived their practical usefulness, and absolutely all of it now needs to be entirely thrown out, so to speak, in order to fully clear the existing construction site and then build something entirely new and innovative. That requires a lot of money.
And Armenia adapted. Yerevan has significantly increased its military spending. If in 2020 Armenia's defense budget $785 million, by 2025 reached $1.7 billion, more than 6% of the country's GDP. But to keep in mind, Armenia small, and as a result, its army small. The Armenian army numbers just over 40,000, with about 200,000 in reserve. But despite this, Armenia is ready to fight for its security, for its freedom, for its right to choose, and that definitely deserves respect.
We understand that Russia won't just leave on its own unless it's simply forced out. And that could be risky because, after all, Armenia is a small country. Honestly, God has protected us by making sure we don't share a border with Russia. But that doesn't make things any easier.
What do you think? Can Armenia slowly break free from Russia's grip? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to hit the like button. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything interesting.